Welcome to Baby Boomer Tales. My name's Jim. You can find us at babyboomertales.com or our Baby Boomer Tales Facebook page, our Baby Boomer Tales YouTube channel, and wherever fine podcasts are served. Now for another segment of At the Movies. Our movie this week is Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. It's a 2025 movie that lasted about 2 hours and stars Jeremy Allen White as Bruce Springsteen. Remember him, Jeremy Allen White? He has a show every year called The Bear, and he's a main chef at a fancy restaurant. He did a pretty good job of being Bruce Springsteen. Like I said, this movie was released in the fall of 2025, and it soon made its way out of theaters onto the TV screen shortly afterwards. I didn't know much about Bruce Springsteen. I've really never been very fond of his music. I know he's quite popular, but for some reason him and I did not click. I did like the song I'm on Fire, but I would recommend this movie. I give it 4 stars, 4 out of 5. You can find it on Disney Hulu, and it's worth spending 2 hours of your time watching a movie. This isn't a bad one to do that on. You'll learn a lot about Bruce that you didn't know, unless you're a big fan, maybe. Our song of the week is I'm on Fire by Bruce Springsteen. It was released in 1985. It was on the album Born in the USA. This song reached number 6 on Billboard's Hot 100. I think I liked it because he used a kind of a softer voice singing it instead of the yelling and growling like he did in Born in the USA. And a freight train running through the middle of my head. Now for another segment we call Forky and Earl. Forky and Earl were driving around town on a Friday night, going up the street, making a U-turn, and going back down Main Street, waving and honking when they saw somebody that they knew. Now, not honking like bah, 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 just a little honk. You know what I mean. And Earl was driving, and Forky was riding, and Forky said to Earl, "Earl, why do you have a mattress in the back of this station wagon?" And Forky looked at Earl, and Earl looked at Forky. "You know why, Forky." And Forky smiled and said, "You ain't that lucky, Earl. What your mom think it's for, Earl? 'Cause you get sleepy driving?" And the boys laughed, and up this main street they drove, making a U-turn and driving back down. After I got my driver's license when I was 16 years old, I kind of took charge of my parents' white Ford Galaxy station wagon. It was a 1963 model, and my parents had gotten themselves a brand new Chrysler 300, which was quite a bit nicer car than the old station wagon. Apparently us kids had grown up so much that we could just sit there instead of rolling around in the back of a station wagon. So I kind of inherited that white station wagon. I drove it everywhere. I actually liked that car very, very much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in my car right now, here parked in the driveway of my house, and back down the driveway, kind of look both ways, make sure nobody's coming up that hill 100 miles an hour or coming from the east, getting ready to go down the hill. And I turn and I'm on the street. Now, I learned a long time ago, you watch what you're doing when you back out of that driveway, or else you'll go right off the road and down the hill. That's what happened to several cars when I was growing up that I knew of. A couple of them when they left my parents' driveway. Okay, so I'm going down, going west, going down the hill. Friday night's a good night to cruise around because only 2 football teams in our league have lights. So only every other year we have to go somewhere where they have lights on a Friday night. Besides that, football games are on Saturday afternoon around here. So I'm going to turn left there at Dwayne's house and go down the big hill, the same one I used to sled down when I was a kid. And it'll put me down there past the Little League field, past Doc Ogden's and Doc Warren's houses, past the lumber yard, and stop there at Main Street, right there at the Conoco station. Well, I think I'll hang a Louie and drive on down Main Street, looking at the Snowview Motel and Olson's, looking to my right and seeing the Blue Spruce Motel, Trail Riders Motel there on my left, and the Trading Post, and the Ford Garage. Well, in between the Trading Post and the Ford Garage is my dad's new grocery store. It's only about a year old now, I think, and he's closed in the evening, so no chance of him seeing me cruising up and down the street. Driving on, there's the hardware on the right, drugstore on the left. Past my uncle's barber shop, and past that Dorothy shop that used to be my grandpa's pool hall. Cruising past Ricky's, and then on the right is El Grand Theater. There's a lot of cars around there tonight. Must be a good show. Let me see if I can see it on that marquee. Going on past, there's the Gamble store, and there's Terry's parents' place. Little storefront in the front, Terry's living quarters in the back. Now I'm going to make me a U-turn before I go over the viaduct. See Larry's house over there. Turn around. Make sure no cars are coming up over that viaduct, and head back towards the west. Hope I don't see Vern, but I'm only going about 20. Speed limit's 30. Most cars from out of town try going through here 40, 45 miles an hour, and Vern makes a living stopping them. Now, it's not like that little town on the other side of the pass that they'll stop you if you go 1 mile an hour and fine you big time. Boy, anybody that knows about that town slows way down. But my town, they do cruise through there pretty fast. Vern is a fair marshal, but he'll stop you if you're doing it too fast, I'll tell you that. Not many people out tonight. All those big gas station signs to go clear up in the air. Texaco and Conoco and Chevron. Well, I'm getting towards the end of town. Gonna make a U-ey here at the Grand Bar. Stop and observe traffic going by. Looking across the street at Stella's. Seeing if I can see one of those girls working the window. I'll stop there before I go home and get me a cherry Coke or something. That's the best place in the world. Now there is a A&W outside of town a bit, and I'll cruise by there before I go home. A lot of people like it because they have car hops, but I prefer Stella's. I do. They'll make the Coke how I want it. Their chocolate dip cones are the best in the world, and even though that A&W gives you the Papa Burger, the Stella Burger I think is better. That's only my opinion. And I'm only 16, so what the heck do I know? I know I like those Stella Burgers, fried pies, chocolate dip cones, and cherry Cokes. I could live on those suckers. But no, I'm not even hungry. My mom made me eat dinner before I took off with orders from headquarters. Don't be out too late, even though it's not a school night. You gotta get up in the morning, go to your dad's store. Slave labor, I used to think it was. When I get older, though, I'll know that it's just my dad giving me a valuable gift of a work ethic. So here I am. I never cruise up and down Main Street too much if I have a girl in the car with me. I don't think they quite understand the concept of cruising Main Street. Don't have any buddies with me tonight. Wayne said he is busy. Dan was up at his house up in the ski area town, and that's okay. Well, there goes Ron in his GTO. I wonder how he afforded to buy a car like that. Well, maybe if I could ever learn how to save some money, I could have a fancier car. But I like this one right here. Somebody told me if you go down to Kaywood's, they have a brand new self-service gas pump that you can get your gas at night. All you need is some dollar bills, and the machine will eat that dollar bill up and give you $1 worth of gas. Oh well, I'd rather go to Jack's or Alvy's or Pete's or Rex's. Doesn't matter where, they'll pump it in for me for free. I really like my little town. It's the best town to cruise up and down Maine there is. Well, do another Yui here before the viaduct, and let's ski-daddle down to the west. Down the hill and past the El Monte, and there's the A&W. I'm just gonna pull in there, see if I see anybody I know. And I know most everybody, so it won't be a surprise to me. But actually, I'm just checking out who the car hops are tonight. Yep. Hey there, what's happening? Okay, let's turn right and go down to the intersection. I ain't going up to Lake Town, but I'll go past that. There's that K-Woods. Those pumps are all lit up. I ought to try that out. Stick $1 in there and get some gas. Well, here I am. There's the chuck wagon. By golly, it's still open. This summer, they have some pretty girls working there. From all over the United States they come just to work at the chuck wagon. Go figure. I turn around here in their parking lot. Head back up into town. Cruise Maine a couple more times. Maybe stop and see what Connie's doing. Grandma would be very happy if I stopped there for a bit. Maybe I'll just go home. I do have to get up pretty early in the morning. Thank you for riding along today. It means more to me than you'll ever know. Time slips by in a blink of an eye. So be brave, be kind, and give a smile away. I'll be back next Wednesday. Peace out.